Welcome back to Dungeon Master Therapy. How can I help you today?
You know what magic item really bothers me?
No, what?
The bag of freaking tricks.
What? Really? Why?
Well, whenever I run one-shots, I allow my players to take magic items depending on what level they are, and I usually allow at least one uncommon item, but one of my players takes nothing but the bag of tricks.
I mean, good for you for letting your players get magic items during one-shots, but seriously, what is it about the bag of tricks that actually bothers you with the person taking it?
Because it's all they use, it's all they rely on, and they base their entire character around the bag of tricks.
Again, I'm really trying to see a problem here.
He once named one of his characters Cash Etchem and used the bag of tricks like Pokemon and Pokeballs.
Well, I mean, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but not in a good way.
Okay, please elaborate further.
One time the party went into a dungeon that was full of a bunch of traps, and instead of the party progressing forward to find all the traps, the player threw out a weasel out of the bag of tricks and had the weasel go through the entire dungeon and get killed by all the traps.
Well, I mean, that's kind of brutal, but I guess it's efficient.
One time the party was hungry and he threw out an elk and they killed the elk and ate it for dinner.
Okay, yeah, that one's kind of dark.
One time the party was being chased down by an owlbear, so what does the player do? Throws a beaver out of the bag of tricks as bait for the owlbear so the party can get away.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
Okay, so have you thought about what you want to do to handle this?
Actually, yes, and I want to run it by you.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
So during the next one-shot, the party is actually going to encounter the bad guy who's known as the Collector, and what the Collector does is he goes around the realm finding animals that came out of bags of tricks and he rescues them.
That sounds cool, but he doesn't really sound like a bad guy to me.
Well, the reason he's bad isn't because he's rescuing animals that came from bags of tricks. He's bad because he's a druid lich type person that's finding these animals and turning them into necrotic undead creatures of horror.
Oh, yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah, well, anyways, when the party comes across this guy, he's gonna dump out his bag of tricks and all the animals are gonna come out of it, but it turns out all the animals that he currently has are all the same animals that the player had that he let loose and got killed.
So the party member that uses the bag of tricks is gonna have to end up fighting all the animals he got killed by using the bag of tricks and all the one-shots?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And exactly how many undead zombie necrotic animals is the party gonna have to fight?
4 weasels, 3 direwolves, a giant bear, a giant elk, a giant badger, and a tiger.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah it is. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's pretty creative that you're having the player find a way to have some consequences for the messed up decisions they made in the past.
Thank you, I really appreciate it. But I also forgot to mention that the collector that's collecting all the dead animals is actually a beholder in disguise.
Wait, what? Why?
Because then when the party's fighting all the animals, the beholder can reveal his true identity and say, "Behold, the consequences of your actions."
That's like a 1 out of 10 joke that's way overused.
Yeah, and you're like a 1 out of 10 Dungeon Master Therapist, but here I am still.
Maybe if you built better encounters for your players, you wouldn't need Dungeon Master Therapy.
Yeah, and maybe if you thought of a different idea, you wouldn't have to do Dungeon Master Therapy all the time for views.
I'll see you next week.